Hey everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of my F1 24 career mode. We are here in Saudi Arabia for one of, if not the quickest track on the calendar. Are we able to finally get our first points, finally break into that top 10 in our Williams car? I guess you'll have to wait and find out as we head now over to qualify. So here we are now out on track going for our first flying lap. We are of course currently sitting in P18, equal last, but we're going to head through the first corner and we keep it nice and clean, but it's not as fast as I would have liked to do it. But now we're going to head through the quick left-hander where it is so easy to lose the front left wheel if you just take the corner too tight. Try to take off more than you can chew. But now we head to the end of the lap to see how it did go. Of course, there is no delta time as this is our first flying lap. We're going to use all our ERS as we head to the line. And where is that going to put us? P6. Not great. We are behind Zhou Guanyu. So, yeah, if you're behind one of the Saubers, you know you're not doing great. But then I decided to go out one more time, pretty much straight after, because I knew I could do a better lap. I didn't change tyres, stayed in the old set, confident that I could improve my lap time. As you can see in the top right, we are up 5/10, almost 5.5. But now we're going to head through the final corner. We keep it nice and tight. Maybe could have gone a little bit wider and exit carried a bit more speed in, but we're almost up to 6/10 now again. As we cross the line, it is going to be 6/10, and that's going to jump us all the way up into P9. And for safety, I decided I was going to go out for one more lap, but in the end, it did not matter as I could not put in a better lap. 3/10 down is pretty insane, but because I was the last car on track, we were per P13 and we're going to stay there, which is lucky that my lap previously to that, I managed to put it in P9, so I could stay in that position and make it to Q2. Let's go. One more Q2 add to our repertoire. But now we are going for our first flying lap and our only flying lap of Q2, as once again I decided I don't think I'm going to put this right up the front. I don't think I'm going to make it into Q3. Let's just go out for a bit of practice, do one quick lap to see where we can put it, see if maybe we can jump a few cars, but then we're going to head straight to the race and focus on that. But now we come around, or we're about to come around the final corner on our only flying lap. We keep it nice and clean. That is a good final corner. We have no delta to base our lap off, but we're going to use all our DRS as we head to line and we cross it. And where is that going to put us on the track for the race day? And that is going to be P12. Not a bad showing whatsoever. That is pretty darn good in my books.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the lower Hijaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position. Edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Albon, the rookie, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Bottas, and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So here we are on the grid, about to begin or starting our formation lap, and look at this. Look how close we are to our teammate. Albon has just managed to get one up on us here in Saudi Arabia in qualifying, but let's see, maybe and hopefully we can get one up on him during the race. But now we're going to try heat our tires up and prepare ourselves for the intense battling and racing that I can bet is about to come on this tight, quick, technical, sweeping circuit. Let's see what we can do and make sure our tires are nice and warm for the optimal race start. But here we go. We are parking up now, one spot behind Albon. We're going to get a nice, clean, perfect parking there. And now we just wait for the lights, which are up. And they go to 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And they're holding in there out straight away. And that was very unexpected. I did not think it was going to go that quick. But look at our start. Perez has had a shocking start. And we're going to tuck in behind Albon and Ricciardo here and try to force Perez out so we can pull up one position and maybe two here as we're side by side with Ricciardo. Are we going to be able to get the move done? He sneaks ahead a little bit. We're on his outside. We're going to squeeze him. There's a bit of contact there as I think he might have hit us because he had no room. But luckily we managed to get through unscathed. And we are in to the top 10 with our teammates up in front in P9. And this is looking good for us already. But just through that corner you may have noticed I made a bit of contact with the wall. Not quite sure if that gave my front wing damage. But we'll have to see how the car handles through the race. But we've got more opportunity now to get some moves done. So we have Albon, Alonso and Hamilton right in front. So once the second lap starts with DRS, we're going to be able to hold them nice and close and maybe get some moves done. And that is the aim. We are in the soft. So is Albon and I believe Hamilton is too. So we're going to try use this tire compound to our advantage and get some moves done, get up some positions nice and early so that when we do pit, we can maintain, or even if we lose some, still be higher than where we started. But as you can see, I've fallen back just a little bit here, which is not going to be good, especially for when the DRS window starts to open and we can use DRS properly. But I've just seen there in the top left, the Hamilton is in fact on the mediums as well, same as Alonso. So we are on an aggressive strategy here. Albon, myself, the Williams team is going aggressive off the start. And now we head into turn 2. We almost rear end Albon. We look for the switchback and we're going to get it through the exit of T1 and we get up the position into P9. What a move. I am incredibly happy with that. I will take that one every day of the year. What a move. We knew he was going to get caught up behind Alonso with the concertina effect. So we went a little bit wide and tried to tuck it in at the apex and it worked. An absolute treat. But now we've got to focus up ahead on Alonso and Hamilton, who are going to fight profusely for a little bit now. Which is hopefully going to give us a chance at maybe picking one of them off and getting another position. But for now, we're going to sit here in P9 with Albon behind. Very comfortable. 3 points for the team currently as it stands and 2 points for ourselves. This is the best chance we've had and maybe the best chance we're going to get for a while. So now we're going to try and follow Alonso with DRS here. He's going to help drag us along and keep our teammate Alexander Albon behind. But now we head through the quick left-hander, about to go onto the final straight before the main straight and the start finish line. But look, Albon is gaining. He's about 2 tenths, less than 2 tenths behind. We do have DRS, but he's still reeling us in it with the slipstream assistance. And look at that, Alonso has gotten ahead of Hamilton now. So the fighting is immense throughout this pack, and you can see behind Albon and myself, look on the mini-map down the bottom left, look how many cars are going at it. But look, Alonso and Hamilton fighting, almost a move there by Hamilton, but in the end he had to back out. And now we're all over the back of him here. This is maybe an opportunity that we're not going to get for the rest of the race. Let's try, stick with him here and get the move done, but we almost rear-end him, so we have to get on the brakes a little heavier than we would have liked, and that has allowed Hamilton to get away on exit. So for now, we're going to have to sit behind him a little longer. And hopefully, though, we can get the move done a bit later. But now, look, Albon is looking for a move down our inside here. We're going to hold him off around the outside and maintain our P9 position. But if you look on the leaderboard, Perez is gaining, and he is in a Red Bull. So he sure is going to close in on us. We're going to do our best to keep him behind. And hopefully Albon doesn't get too feisty with me and we can kind of avoid any contact or any fighting that is unnecessary until the end of the race, where maybe we are just going for that finishing position. As for now, it's all about the team. But we run a little bit wide into the top corner, and that has opened up space for Albon. We get a bit of contact as we didn't quite see how close he was, and that has allowed Albon to get through on the inside, and there's no way for me to go for a move here. There's no way you're going too wide through this corner. It's just a recipe for disaster, so we have to back out. And just like that, from one small error of going a little bit deep and a little bit wide, we have now not only lost one position to Albon, but Perez and Stroll and their whole pack has caught up onto my tail behind. And now this has really invited them back into the race for the points. We're going to have to do our best to keep them behind as Alonso and Hamilton continue to fight up ahead. But now we head through the final corner, about to begin the 5th lap of the race. And look, Perez is right on our tail here. We have DRS from Albon, which is a bit of a help, but look at the car difference. Perez in a Red Bull just completely outdoes my Williams, but we're going to send it around the outside to hold the position, give him a bit of a squeeze, and we do manage to maintain P10. But he's looking for a move on exit around the outside into this corner, but it's just never going to work. But what it did do is unsettle me, as through that next corner we rendered a little bit wide, and we're wide there as well. So even though he did not get the move done, he definitely rattled my cage a little bit, and that's going to give him an opportunity once again to get onto our tail and maybe look for a move. But now we're on to lap 5, about across the line for lap 6, and Perez is just going to swoop by as Albon has managed to pull out of DRS range, and I was just a sitting duck waiting for the Red Bull to make its move, its inevitable overtake. But now all we can do is try to soften the impact that has had, as we now have to maintain our P11 with the hopes of something happening ahead and something through the pit strategy that could allow me to gain, even if it is just that one position back into the points. But for now, we've got to focus on Stroll and Ricciardo behind, who are going to be trying to make their opportunity count and make a move on me into the, not into the points, but right up near the points. But now we head to lap 7. Look, Stroll and Ricciardo are going for moves. We're almost 3 wide into the first corner. Ricciardo backs here, a bit of contact with Stroll there. We're going to hold it around the outside, and we're going to manage to maintain our position. But this fighting is getting absolutely intense, and we are heading towards our pit strategy here. But is it going to matter? Are we going to lose the positions before that happens? We're just going to have to wait and find out as we're heading through the sweeping corners, and we make a bit more contact with the wall there. But now we head to the end of lap 7, and Stroll's made the move around the outside, but we're going to dive back down and hopefully get a move done. We do, but now it is our time to pit. So we're going to head in, and Stroll is going to follow us all the way in as well. But hopefully we can make this early pit stop count and get some overtakes through an undercut maybe. That is the hope, and that is the plan. Hopefully a quick stop here, and it is. No mistakes whatsoever. We're onto the medium compound, and we are back out. And in fact, we've even managed to make a bit of a gap on Stroll. I believe we've actually opened that gap up ever so slightly. As we come out of the pit lane, where are we going to be ahead of Stroll? It is almost a second. Almost a second. So we have definitely made that pit stop count. Just a good stop, a good strategy in general. And onto the medium compound. We've got to make the most of this before the hards come into play at the end of the race. We're going to have to try use our pace to get all the way as to the end and as far away from the drivers behind as possible. But now we head on to lap 10. Albon is in P10. I am in P11, and we're about to head around the final corner to begin lap 11 as we come across the start-finish line in a moment. But there's yellow flags ahead. I'm not quite sure what that's for, but look, Albon's slow. Albon is slow, and no, that is another team error or team mistake. I believe an engine failure for Albon, or some kind of electronic component mishap that has caused him to have to retire from the race, and that is absolutely devastating for the team. Even though we were running 10 and 11, meaning only one of us was getting points, there was that chance that throughout the race a mistake would happen ahead that would allow us to get double points finish. But no more. That chance is abolished as Albon has to retire due to component issues. But now we head on to lap 18, and we are still sitting in P10 and a comfortable gap from the drivers behind. From that lap 11 to lap 18, I'd been opening the gap, creating it, making it bigger and bigger until about lap 16. when the hards really came into play, and since then Stroll has been really closing in on me. But luckily, lap 18 has come at the perfect time, as Stroll is going to be within almost a second of me as we go to cross the line to earn ourselves our first ever championship point of our Formula 1 career, and the first point for Williams in the season. What a race, what a drive, what a weekend. Now we look forward to the next one.
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
So here are the results then from that race. As you can see, Verstappen finishing first as expected, but look at that P10 for us from P12 on the grid. What a drive. Sadly for Albon, it was a D and F. But now here are the championship standings as it stands after the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We are currently in P13 with 1 championship point, which is looking good. We have jumped 7 other drivers with that race finish. Verstappen is currently leading the 2 Red Bulls, who lead the 2 Ferraris, who lead the 2 Mercs in the championship. So this is definitely looking like it could be a heated battle in the Constructors. But now look at that, Williams P8 with that 1 point. We are equal to RB and not far behind Alpine and Aston Martin. We have a chance. But now if you guys have enjoyed, make sure you go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.